What up, Kia, and welcome to Bar Vibes with Bryce the Fourth, giving out raw reactions and interacting with the masses. No subject is safe. You hear the people and the noises, but that's the point, because without the people, what is the point? Embrace some vibrations. I got a little something special for y'all before we get to the regularly scheduled program. Most how I go, you say?
Let's go! Let's do it!
And we're back. Yeah, I had to give you guys that little nugget. Shout out to all my Liverpool supporters who took a picture with me today. That thumbnail was absolute fire. You got to start with the NFL draft, obviously, and I'm not being a homer. You can look it up. Everybody's saying it. Eagles won the draft. Now, I'll give you this. It's difficult to say you win a draft before you even see the players play, but at the same time, you get the best players from the best team. Georgia, obviously, they go back to back winning championships, mainly based on defense. Stetson Bennett had a pretty easy job, but that defense was just awesome. For them to go out and get a player who, teams off the field issues I get it, I understand, but if from a perspective where you have veterans, that they can come in, teach this man how to be a professional, and ultimately turn into a championship winning defense. It's like they're like literally just swapping, like Fletcher's out for Jalen Carter, and then BG's out for Nolan Smith. For them to get Nolan Smith with 30. First of all, I thought that the Bears were going to draft Nolan Smith. Jalen Carter. I don't know why they didn't. And a Bears fan of mine said he thinks it's because they didn't have the veteran presence in their locker room to, help this man along. He joins a team with two of his former teammates, who they're probably all going to start when it's all said and done. On top of Jalen getting his money, this was a huge win. The DeAndre Swift move was just holy moly. When I looked into it, and I heard that this is something that normally happens, but they traded a 4th round pick for him. But if he doesn't stay in Philly, they get a compensatory pick back, which could possibly be a 3rd. Howie, man, I'm telling you, the man he got some dirt or something on these NFL executives who I heard were jealous that everybody's talking about him. Yeah, I would be jealous too if everybody's talking about a man who's fleecing you week after week in the offseason. It's just going to happen. I'm sorry. This is where we are. Now, I will give the Seahawks credit. They had a really good draft, especially at the beginning. They got Devin Witherspoon easily starting in his at cornerback, and then they got Smith and Jigba, who's a wide receiver from Ohio State. They had Chris Olave on their team last year, and he might have been better than him. And Smith and Jigba is the real deal. That 3 for the Seahawks, DK, Tyler Lockett, and Smith and Jigba, that's fire. And then the Texans, other team that I was very impressed with, they were different because they were aggressive. They got CJ Stroud, and then they were like, no, fuck this. We see the best player that's available to us right now, Will Anderson from Alabama, and they traded up to get him. And I was, listening. I always listen to everybody when they talk. If you see a player out there that you want, do not pussyfoot around. Just go get him. Just go get him. This wasn't an extremely deep draft. Like, people were drafting down a lot and just getting value. And they did that. The Texans got exponentially better. It would have been very dumb if you didn't say to your fan base, I am committed to making sure that when you come to these games, it'll be at least entertaining. I heard, ever since Deshaun Watson left, it's just been like just nothing. So now they have something to look forward to. Lions with a head scratcher with running back at 12. I get it. He played at Alabama, and he's pretty good. And they have a plethora. Lions have a plethora of running backs. Hence why DeAndre Swift is going. But history doesn't tell you, taking a running back at 12 or even in the first round is optimal because you see third rounders, fourth rounders getting 1,000 yards in systems that just work for anybody. But you see a playmaker, again, like I said, you'll get them. I don't know. I don't scout for the Lions, but if they saw something I didn't see, good for them. They did have a great day number 2. They addressed their tight end issue after getting rid of their tight end, which is good for them. Their draft got better, but I'm just like, damn, running back at 12, which brings me to my next point is that Bijan gets taken at 8. I was watching the draft. He didn't look like he really wanted to go there. I mean, he has no choice. He's going to make millions of dollars. I mean, his mom showed up in an Eagles green dress. He wanted to go to the Eagles. I mean, listen, you can't dictate what happens. When you go where you're going to go. It doesn't really matter. Baltimore, again, drafts a wide receiver in the first round. I'm not sure if they understand if this is ever going to work out for them. Maybe they hit on Zay Flowers this time. I have no idea. But yet again, Baltimore, wide receiver, first round. Their best move during the draft was just signing Lamar. That has nothing to do with the draft, but getting that man back on your roster. I said it when they signed Jalen. They were like, "Oh my God, he's the highest paid player." I'm like, that's gonna change in a matter of days, weeks. That didn't mean anything to me. And even now, Lamar's gonna be over, or Joe Burrow is gonna get paid more than he is. My favorite move of the draft, though, the Bills cut in front of Dallas for a tight end that they definitely wanted. The man is an absolute beast. I mean, he had a game where he had 16 catches. Dallas, his name's Dalton Kincaid. Bills traded up in front of them, knowing that they wanted him, and was like, fuck it, let's go get that guy. It reminds me of something that happened before when we traded in front of them to get Dallas Goedert. They haven't had a comparable tight end since then. Then they give them the excuse like, oh, well, we thought that the player they drafted was Mozzie Smith from Michigan, the D tackle. Oh, yeah, he was higher on our board. No, he wasn't. That's just an excuse for you saying we weren't aggressive enough in this draft. Overall, draft was great. And I sometimes forget that it's 3 days. It used to be just one full day of just draft. But, they split it up, and at the end of the day, it's going to take like 3 years for you to figure out, oh, this person or this team won the draft. You can say it. You can give all the draft grades you want, C+, A+, A-, blah, blah, blah. It's based on speculation. So the draft is a draft. Basketball, Sixers. None of you motherfuckers thought that the Sixers were going to win game 1. I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Unless you're a Sixers fan, you were like, oh, yeah, Boston without Joel Embiid, they're going to demolish them. No. James Harden said, hold my fucking beer. I'm going to put 45 on your head efficiently. 17 to 30. Dropping dimes. Maxey gives you 26. Tobias almost gives you 20. Melton getting left wide open. Listen, Boston, the beginning of the game was crazy. Like, Boston they shot 59% from the field, but the Sixers just would not go away. Shout out to B-Ball Paul for making his free throws at the end of the game, and I love the fact that James Harden was like, this is game 1. At the end of the game, he was like, this is only one game. We're coming back to get another one. Tonight. Boston loses both at home. You hate to see it. You better walk out. You better look out. The Suns. Oh my goodness. The Suns are in trouble. Joker and Jamal Murray. That pick and roll is just demolishing them. It's not that the Suns are bad. Excuse me. They just don't have enough guys coming off the bench, especially when your two best players are not getting it done. And then some of you heard this before, but Chris Paul is hurt. Injured groin. That's not a 1 week, 2-day injury. That's something that he's dealt with before. They're down 2-0. Joker's making it look easy. I mean, they have no answer for the depth that the Nuggets have when their best players come off the bench. I don't see that series going past 5 games the way this is looking, unless Devin Booker and Kevin Durant decide to just go off for 40 apiece a game. And I mean, it's possible. I don't see it happening. Heat beat the Knicks first game easily, but then Jimmy Butler gets hurt and they lose the second game. But the wild part about that is that the Knicks had all their best players. Even Julius Randle came back. and they had their point guard back. The Heat were without their 3 starters, and they only lost by 6. So in your mind, as a Heat player, as a Heat fan, you're going, wait a minute. So we didn't have 3 of our starters, and we only lost by 6. Also, a very questionable call when the ball clearly touched the rim, and they gave the ball to the Knicks because they said it was a shot clock violation. No, it wasn't. I love to see that Jimmy Butler was on the sideline, like waving at Knicks fans, like, "All right, I'll see y'all. You see how easy this was when I wasn't here. Wait till I get back on this motherfucking court. Wait till I get back on this fucking court, man. I swear." The Lakers and the Warriors, again, a lot of people weren't saying. Well, people were saying that it was going to be competitive. They were, but I don't think they were going to say that the Lakers were going to, steal one at home first game. AD, listen, bro. AD goes off like this 2 more games, even just 2 more games, and you get a great performance from a LeBron. Warriors are in trouble. Warriors are in fucking trouble. AD had 23 fucking boards. I know that Looney also had 23 boards, but AD was just, there was nothing that he could do. I watched the highlights. He had 2 bad shots, and they were both threes. They could not stop this man at all. Steph and Clay, and they tried to, shoot their ways back into the game. That 14-0 run at the end, very scary for the Lakers. But then you get Jordan Poole like, hey, I'm that guy. Let me pull up from 32 with 14 seconds left at the end of the game. You have 2 of the greatest 3-point shooters on your team. You're like, nah, I got this. Yeah, you fucked up. And I saw Steph Curry like, oh, you fucking bitch. I know he was hot, and I know he had a press conference about it, but he was very upset. 14 seconds, you got ample opportunity to get a better look than walking into a 32-foot 3-pointer. If the Lakers can get to the line, and if AD can get you 15 and 20 boards a game, you can call it. You can fucking call it. Lakers back to the Western Conference Final. Dylan Brooks is my favorite story. He got shunned. That man got shunned from the Grizzlies. They were like, under no circumstances, we could be down to 5 people on this roster. Your ass ain't coming back. What did you think was going to happen when you decided to poke bears? And not only you're poking bears, but you're poking if not the best, the second best player to ever play the game. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Bruins lost. The Boston Bruins, the best team ever by record, most wins ever. President Cup winners. President Cup, you win the President Cup when you have the most wins in the season. They lost to the Florida Panthers. And that just goes to show you that winning in the regular season in hockey doesn't mean shit. Doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Boston fans, you're going to be down bad if Celtics lose tonight. I'm just saying, there's no jinx here, but you're going to be down bad. Down bad. Up the Reds. Shout out to Liverpool. I believe that is 6 games straight as of today. Without a loss. They beat Fulham today. That 4-3 last week was one of the most epic matches I've ever seen. They were up 3-0 within 10 minutes, and then they conceded 3 in the 91st, and then Diogo Jota was like, hold my fucking beer, and scored within a minute. This man, Richarlison from the Spurs, took off his shirt, flexing his chest. It was his first goal ever. Nah, fuck that. They ain't losing. We ain't losing this game. If you know, you know. Random thought, Terminator, the movie, is about to be real life. This AI shit, they're putting AI in like mechanical dogs so they can think for themselves for chat GPT. I don't like this. Every time we as Americans, as humans, as people go, this is not good. You don't want to give this kind of, see my boy? You don't want to give this kind of knowledge to a robot, and yet they just keep going, nah, I think we're good. Nah, I think we're good. Nah, let them think for themselves. We can shut it down. All right, you fuck around with this if you want to. Robots are on their way. They are. Imagine like I don't know if you ever seen the movie Small Soldiers. Like if that was real, that'd be ridiculous. Big ups to the first state. Stay focused and be great. Take a sip. Much love from the kid. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your life. Hey, Carl, can I get a bell ring real quick, please? BWBIV.com!